other issues, or for the responsibilities that the organization itself has towards the employees, not the employee himself. I mean, I'm sure when you signed, you knew that you were not working for £300.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is what the governmental sector would do. Sorry, the private sector. On the governmental sector, they do something else. So we have actually people working in the government, and their salaries consist of a 7-digit number.
Yeah, and I'm
So-
sorry to interrupt you here, but
Yeah.
you spoke about a lot of important points. But let me take it from the second half of your answer, and that is the focus or the role that the interim government has to do in the upcoming period, because we know it's going to be there for 6 to 9 months until the presidential elections are held, and then of course a new government will take place. Now, you said also earlier that numbers don't lie, and that it's the numbers that determine how we can deal with the situation on real ground. In terms of numbers in the economy, where do you think the current budget that is in Egypt will be, how do you think it will be handled in this upcoming period? Is it going to go for wages as a priority? Because, you know, going down to Tahrir Square almost many times, and sometimes also to other areas like Tahrir, people are not really thinking about that. And that the same concepts have changed. I mean, the concepts of the protesters has changed. They're not the same anymore as the 25th of January. Now, they want to work hard, and they want to have services, better quality of services, transportation, streets, cleanliness of the streets, and so forth. And wages is not on their first priority list. So how will this interim cabinet handle the budget so that people would feel that there is change in a short time, but not take away the budget to work on something else that people won't feel it happen during their 6 to 9 period time? Do you understand where I'm getting?
Actually, this is a very smart question. In fact, it is just one circle. First of all, during the cabinet of Mr. Hisham Kandil, we had a problem of the lack of transparency. There is a huge deficit in the budget, and we don't know it. So they did not declare it. So what is required from the current government is first to declare how far this deficit is. This is number one. Number two, when I talk about the wages, actually, if the current structure of the wages and the salary in the governmental sector can very easily subsidize and work for this social justice that I was just talking about, just in case we applied this into the income, not to the wages or the salaries. So if we do this, we will definitely, with what we will have remaining, be able to cover at least a part of the deficit in the budget. And this is the first step towards the improvement of the different services that you were just talking about, like the public transportation, the cleaning of the streets, and the health, all the service sector in general. So in order for you to do this, you just need to finance these projects. So with this restructuring of the income mechanism in the governmental sector, you will be able to find extra and creative ways of financing such projects. So yes, the demands of people in the streets nowadays are might sound different from the original 25th of Jan demonstrations, but in fact they are talking about the same core. So if we are able to reach the social justice from one side, on the other side you will have what will be more than enough to enhance and increase the services, because in the first place you will have the environment that is pro the foreign direct investment. So can you tell me if any investor would love to come to Egypt nowadays?
No.
Actually, the current investors are thinking seriously of going out. This is the reality. So if you have things settled, and if you don't have any more set-ins, whatever, that means investors will gain much more confidence that this country is on the right track, and now I can come and invest, and then you can ask them to follow the national plan. So one of the challenges in front of Dr. Bablawi's government is to formulate a national business plan for the country, like Dubai, like Qatar. What they do have is that they have a national plan. So if you are an investor coming to going to Dubai, for example, you don't just go and say, well, I would love to make or to invest in the telecommunications business. No, it doesn't work like this. They have a plan. You go and tell them, I want to invest. Then they ask you, first, what is your area of expertise? And then they start matching this with the areas that they need to develop in the country. So they know that they have, they need seven textile projects, for example, in Dubai. Then they will tell you, we have a very good opportunity in investment in this area. Will this suit you? Do you have the capability and the expertise to execute such projects? If it is matching, then you make the deal. So they make sure that there won't be over-investment in one sector while other sectors in the country are completely neglected. So once we have this environment, investors will start coming. When we have the plan, then we'll make sure to cover all the service areas that are required as per the demands that you just highlighted of the demonstrators nowadays, and then we'll start moving as a country. So actually it is just one chain that will go.
Now let me build on your answer, and my question is kind of interconnected. Now you mentioned that these are some of the challenges and the obstacles facing the current interim government. Now, do you think, I mean, there are many focuses, as you said, and these focuses won't be facilitated and created unless we do have a base for an actual stable government and a secure nation. Do you think that the interim government, that this is the role of the interim government right now, or should they be working towards facilitating the upcoming elections, because the upcoming government, which is going to be the stable government that's going to be a long term, is the one that should be taking on that role?
Historically, we have a problem of starting from the zero. Each government comes, or each person comes like to be in charge of a place. His first statement, well, I'll be starting from the zero. So the outcome is a big fat zero that we live in nowadays.
That's
in
never
many
completed.
sectors. Exactly. So you start building, and then I come, I don't like what you build, I'll start building my own way. So this is the problem. So we said that we are now in the time of a change. So this government should put the seed. So they are capable of putting at least the plan. I'm not demanding the execution of the plan. What is just required is to have the plan ready, so that when the newly elected government comes in charge, then they have a plan, a vision for 10, 15, 20 upcoming years. Then they can start executing. Nations cannot be built overnight, but we can plan. We have actually this is the time of the plan. If people felt that this government is putting a national plan, then they can start gaining confidence that the upcoming government will be achieving something. But if we just wasted these 6 or 9 months in just waiting for what for the elected government to put the plan, then we are just doing nothing rather than wasting our time.
Yes, now, Doctor, when we're talking about plans, not only is there a national plan, but there has been an international plan towards further straining the economy of Egypt, and I'm particularly talking about the IMF. Which has caused a lot of problems, and maybe that is one of the reasons why Egyptians have had it with the regime that was there until he was deposed. Now, my question is, where is the IMF loan standing in the picture for Egypt after the 30th of June?
Great. Well, for the time being, it is totally suspended. There are no actions to be taken concerning this. And in fact, I don't see that we actually need this loan from the IMF.
Do you mean that you don't need the loan in terms of numbers as you speak, or we don't need in Egypt the loan in terms of the regulations set on Egypt upon receiving the loan?
Actually, both. The regulations are too tough, and this will not be pro the execution of the national plan that I'm talking about. This is the first thing. Second, the IMF itself will never, a part of its regulations is to have a stable government and stable conditions in the country, because from their point of view, from their perspective, this is investment. So again, they are not going to invest in Egypt unless they see like the outcome of this investment. So talking about this fund now doesn't make sense, because they will not provide it, and even if they are going to, this is not going to happen now. They will still wait until things are settled in the country. They never supply any country with any funds unless they make sure that things on the ground are
That's in terms of the IMF. How about what about the Gulf countries that have already offered billions of pounds for Egypt after 30th of June?
This is a different story. So what we take from the Gulf countries are not loans, and they are not conditioned like the IMF loan. So let's say the aids coming from the Gulf countries, I can see that they can very easily replace, because they are almost equivalent to the loan of the IMF. So at least for the time being, we can make use of this, and we don't need even to think or build our plans in the future on the loan coming from the IMF. We can use this Gulf support in order to like have liquidity in the market, and start consulting them or cooperating with them on how to finance the long-term projects. So again, the long-term plan can never be built on a loan, because a loan means, from the IMF, means politics. Politics means that you have to always negotiate with them to get like better conditions, and it has never been mentioned throughout history that the World Bank or the IMF has been like truly supporting a country. So if you remember during Gamal Abdel Nasser time, when he wanted to make like to build the high dam, they refused to finance the project, because they saw that this project represents like the future of the country. So they will never ever finance any projects that will like help the country to be much more developed. So understanding this point, I would say that we should never build or like make our national plan based on the such loan. Funds coming from the Gulf countries, if they are like already approved and we already have them, then this is an actual number that we can build on. And in the end, the national plan itself is to generate and make sure that the funds will be sustained for the development. No developed country in the world will always depend on loans or funds coming from any other external party, because nobody will give you a single pound for free.
There has to be
this is a rule that we all know.
Right. Well, Ahmed Garhy, Resources Management and Development Consultant, thank you so much for joining us, and hopefully this next period could go on peacefully so that we can actually achieve some kind of development as you had suggested.
Thank you very much.
And right now we're going to go to a brief break, and we'll be right back to continue the breakfast show, so please stay tuned.